So yesterday, everyone's waiting for this election. Just 120 days ago, on every chart we looked at, Pierre was supposed to be the prime minister. Poly market, massive lead, okay? Vegas odds, massive lead. After a disastrous Justin Trudeau, he goes to Mar-a-Lago, walks out 51st state, embarrassing for Justin Trudeau. Everyone's saying this is going to be over with. And then last night I'm at Casa D'Angelo. This Canadian family from Montreal walk up to me. Okay, Pat, we're in Canada. We watch your stuff. We know how you feel about Pierre. You know it's the election tonight. I said, I know it is. They said, you know he's probably not going to win. I said, no, I know he's not going to win. He doesn't work that hard. And they said, be nice to us, Canadians. We watch you guys. Be nice to us. Be fair to us. I said, look, fair I'll be, but you're too easy on your candidate. So this is Mark Carney, a World Economic Forum candidate, wins, and we brought Viva to give us an update on this because I got a lot more opinions here. Rob, if you want to play this clip, go for it.
We see every day what the politics of slogans and anger and chaos are doing south of the border. They are dividing and they are weakening the Americans. And that is why, that is what, that they are not united anymore. United in name only. You
can stop it right there. I can only listen to.
Imagine he accuses them of politics of slogans with elbows up, and they are not united. I mean, he issues two slogans. His campaign was elbows up, which is ironic because, you know, when you're getting mugged in Canada, that's exactly where your elbows are now. But politics of slogans, and then his basing his campaign on a slogan, elbows up, which makes no sense.
Is that like the old Cholo song, elbows up, side to side, and elbows up? And that's not what you're talking about.
Apparently it's hockey.
You're
trying to say,
it's hockey based, and it's supposed to be like, you know, when you get ready to fight.
Yeah,
the only thing is
elbows up.
No, but elbows up is a dirty play, like when you want to elbow someone in the head and not have the ref see. So it's even the campaign slogan was a dirty play in hockey.
Rob, can you do me a favor? Pull up Trump's tweet yesterday towards Canada, and then Pierre's response, if you can pull that up. You know, so for me, I'm watching this whole thing taking place, going back and forth. This guy Pierre needs to absolutely win by a mile. If you have the tweet towards Canadians, you should have it somewhere there, Rob. When was it? When you go a little bit lower, see if you find it. If not, you don't see it. Man, he's pretty active nowadays.
Dude, he's not stuck.
Okay, well, go to Pierre's tweet. Okay, go to Pierre's tweet. Go to Pierre's tweet, okay? If you go to Pierre's tweet, is this it? President Trump, stay out of our election. The only people who will decide the future of Canada are Canadians at the ballot box. They didn't show up. Canada will always be proud, sovereign, and independent, and we will never be the 51st state. Today, Canadians can vote for change so we can strengthen our country, stand on our own 2 feet, and stand up to America from a position of strength. Go to my tweet, Rob, and just to have some fun with this one here. This is what I said to Canadians last night, 6 hours or 12 hours before they were about to go out there and vote. Can you go to that one right there? I mean, I even tagged them purely out of respect. Yeah. Canada, I certainly hope your candidate, Pierre Poilievre, did everything in his power to win for you. I hope you held him accountable. I hope you drove him to earn his victory instead of being entitled to one. I hope he and his team reached out to Tucker, Nelk, Rogan, Theo Von, Megyn Kelly, Sean Ryan, Bill Maher, Lex Friedman, and others to get his message heard. I certainly hope your fear of the liberal media in Canada didn't bully you from campaigning the old-fashioned way. I hope this doesn't become the most embarrassing loss a conservative candidate has suffered following a disastrous Trudeau administration. If he loses to Carney after being ahead by a mile on Polymarket just 90 days ago, this may go down as the most pathetic loss of all time. Your beautiful country and amazing people needed their hero to work his ass off. I'm not sure he did. I certainly hope I'm wrong and he wins. But future looks bright for those who campaign like their country counted on them. Go a little lower. Here's John Shahidi. Go a little bit lower on that tweet in the comment section. John Shahidi, who runs Nelk, he runs Full Send, he runs Happy Dad. Wow. He says, I tried to support by connecting Nelk, Theo, and you, they ignored. You mean to tell me you said no to Theo? Do you know how much we would have sent the lighter side of you, the fun side of you with Theo? Do you know what would have happened if you gone to Nelk? They have connections in Canada, and you said no to it? Now, Viva, everybody I talk to, this is the shit I hear. I hear people say, you don't understand Canadian politics. Probably so. You don't understand how things are. You don't understand how the liberal media, they're so dirty over here. And what they're going to do is if he goes on all those things, all they're going to do is this. This is all Trump's fault. If Trump wouldn't have brought up the 51st state, he would have won by landslide. This whole thing happened because of Trump. It is all Trump's fault. It is all. If I hear one more Canadian blame this loss on Trump, I am so sick and tired of this victimhood mentality of blaming everything on Trump. There is this one, what do you call it? I saw, Rob. There's this one meme I saw. I'm sending it to you right now. If you see it on your phone, if you can pull it up. This meme explains so many of the voters that want to blame every single thing on Trump. I want to show this to you, and I'm going to tee it up to you, okay? Please. Let me get this out of my system. This is therapy for me, okay? If you can show this meme, this is what everything is with Canada. Boom, boom, Trump did this. It's all Trump's fault. True. So go ahead, tell us, represent the Canadians and give their perspective, please.
I hear the exact same thing. Viva, you've been Americanized by American politics. Yeah. A Trump campaign in Canada wouldn't work in Canada. Canadians are too fill in the blank. I might agree that Canadians are way too propagandized, and I don't even think they understand it, and I think we've seen the results of that. But the fact that he would turn down or not go on certain podcasts, because people are saying, well, what good would it do to go on an American podcast? The media in Canada is just going to use it against him, say he's Trump-esque. And it's like, they're doing it anyhow. No matter what he does, no matter how much he tries to trash Trump, they do it anyhow. They called him mini-Trump. They drew parallels between his campaign and Trump's campaign. And I said, you want to get the eyes of the world on the issues of Canada, much like what happened in Romania, where Calin Georgescu gets, disqualified. They annul the election. And you say, well, don't get American politics involved in it because, it's none of their business. That's how you put things on international blast. And that's how you get into the mainstream and bypass the media cartel that exists in Canada. It was very, very frustrating because I've been hard on Pierre for 4 years. Like going back to when he referred to Christine Anderson as hateful, said she should go back to Germany. Going back to when he was wearing the Ukrainian scarf saying Slava Ukraini. I was like, what kind of leader of a country is chanting glory to another country? And if you criticize him over the years, try to make him a better candidate. Then he gets involved in this campaign and runs it like he thought he was going to be the anointed prime minister. Did you see his interview with Jordan Peterson? Mm-mm. It was reminiscent of Hillary Clinton's happy birthday to this future president. Like they're talking about it as though he's already won it. They're talking about it as though he's the prime minister.
They? Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson and him.
Jordan Peterson was talking as if he's already won it?
Yeah, they're saying like, when you become,
he was talking to Jordan.
No. What I'm asking is, did Jordan Peterson talk to him as if you're going to win?
Effectively, I mean, that was the tone. But that was months before the election was even called. And in that interview, Pierre Poilievre says something which I think proved prophetic. He's like, Peterson said, how do you avoid, going to the middle to try to woo the vote of the middle ground people? And then Pierre says, well, I won't do that. And he says, well, elaborate. He's like, I'm smarter than that. I know, you don't take for granted the votes of your base and move center to try to accommodate everybody. That's how you piss everybody off. And I'm like, that's exactly what he did during the campaign.
Wow.
He abandoned, first of all, never did anything to try to woo what they refer to as the vote splitters, the PPC, the People's Party of Canada. Never did anything to try to accommodate their desires, to listen to their concerns, to address the vaccine injured, to address the Ottawa protests, to address Tamara Leach and Chris Barber being convicted of mischief. And now they're facing 2 years in prison. The Pat King debacle. Never did anything to address any of that because he was afraid the liberal-controlled mainstream media.
Why are they so scared of the liberal-controlled media in Canada? Why are they so, what is the difference between the liberal-controlled media in Canada and the U.S.? Tell me.
Well, it's say CBC, Radio-Canada, or they're fully funded. They're subsidized by the government to the tune of $1 billion. They are deeply indebted, for the future of their livelihood. Because
what country doesn't have that? Tell me what country doesn't have the media controlled by the left and the government. What country?
Well, in America, you have a bit more of a populist conservative or center voice. You Rogan.
This is the media. We're podcast.
Mainstream media. Who? Mainstream media in the U.S. Tell me what channel in U.S. is conservative.
Let's say Fox News is conservative light.
Okay. Who else?
That's pretty. Well, we got OAN and Newsmax.
Those two are not that big.
No, I agree.
Okay,
but at least you have one big voice which has a big audience, and at the very least you have voices that people can get their alternative media from. In Canada, you got none of that. And you got CBC, Radio-Canada as the state crown corporations. Right. Then you got CTV, Global News, National Post, Toronto Star, Toronto Sun. They're all effectively controlled by the government or indebted to.
So then if you know that's the case and you're Canadian, you know they have that kind of control. You don't want to be a disruptor? You didn't see what happened to America? You didn't see the fact that the media tried to destroy Trump's life and conservatives in America? And you didn't see that coming? Like, you did not use America as a case study of what not to do and how to beat them? You didn't see this as like, if you're going to build a business having to do with, fitness equipment, or if you're going to be doing clothing line, go study the case study of Nike, Under Armour, see what they did, and go study who screwed up and who lost market share. Go find out what happened with Converse on how they screwed up. Canadians are like, well, no, you guys don't understand. Well, no, you don't understand. Be a damn change agent.
This is the
how
thing
come how come they're afraid of being a change agent?
This is the flack that I was getting from so-called Canadian conservatives. And I don't consider myself conservative. I'm maybe libertarian-ish, but they were saying, Viva, you don't understand. He's got to play it safe.
Right.
Otherwise,
okay.
I was like, no, but you don't win anything by playing it safe.
How did it work out for you?
Well,
how did it work out for you?
He lost his own writing. He lost his own writing.
Rob, what
in
is
Carleton.
this? Rob, is this this is what, Rob?
This is the polls leading up. You can see where Pierre Poilievre was all the way down to 21%, and then he jumped back up in December, but not enough to compete with Mark Carney.
This is not Polymarket, Rob. What is this?
Yeah. This is...
No, go to Polymarket. Go to Polymarket Canada elections.
Yeah, you'll see
because
the
he was
99.5%,
like 6 months ago.
No, there's another one, Rob. If you go to Polymarket between the two chart,
there it is. There it is, right in the middle.
That's the one.
Exactly.
So look at that. Okay.
Look at far left. What's the date on that? Far left,
January.
blue.
Click on that, Rob. Yeah, if you go to it, that should be the date.
It's a screen grab.
No,
that is effectively what the chart looked like. It went a little bit further down because he was at 85% until Carney came into the race.
When Trudeau was the current prime minister.
And then Carney came in, was anointed after he defeated the two.
Blue is conservative. They're red is liberal. That's important for the audience
he plummeted and he tried to make a comeback at the end.
Well, no, the comeback at the end, that was when the results were coming in, and it looked like the conservatives were picking up a little more seats in the East, so they thought they were going to have a better chance of becoming prime minister. Then it bounced right back.
And not to cut you off, and aren't we, like PBD podcast, talking about conservative type leaning podcast? They can't watch us on Instagram, correct?
No. Canada, if you're in Canada, go on Instagram. Go try to consume our content on Valuetainment on Instagram. You cannot.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you do this? Go on Instagram if you live in Canada and try to look at our content, Valuetainment on Instagram.
Get out of here.
Valuetainment is not allowed to be seen in Canada by the Canadian government. By the Canadian.
Yes.
I don't know how many
I
times to
believe
tell
you, but I didn't. This is the first time hearing this.
This has been the case for over a year.
You're telling me that Canadians cannot look at Valuetainment on Instagram.
Cannot look at Valuetainment content because of the Canadian government.
That's the first Manec I
now.
ever got from Canada was a Canadian going, "Hey, did you guys know this that we can't?" And I was like, "I don't believe it." And I told my cousin. My cousin's like, "Oh yeah, we can't. We can only see it on YouTube." Yeah.
Oh,
so
conservative citizens in Canada have a right to be really upset today because words talk, numbers scream. The actual vote for the top two parties, because there's multiple parties in Canada, and the Green Party does much better in Canada than the Green Party in the U.S., as is the Libertarian. And Viva, you can correct me. You know what the vote split was here, Pat? 43% on actual vote count of the Liberal Party, 41.7% for the Conservative Party. They lost this thing by a whisker after running the most horrible campaign and ignoring everything. Now, we focus on 270, right? We focus on 270 for our president and for our, we think about our House of Representatives and the number of seats you need. Well, they need 172 up there. The Liberals only have 165 and the Conservatives 147. This thing is razor thin. So basically, and just like the U.S. became more conservative, there was more conservative shift in this election, and all you had to do was not run a crap campaign. And you gave it up. You were ahead at halftime, and you didn't even play the second half. That's what happened here. And by the way, the conservatives up there, and you can look this up and tell me about this. Conservatives use VPNs to get U.S. social media and to get feeds of stuff that they're not normally allowed to get. And they get it. And so if he had come to any of the podcasts, to us, to any other ones listed, conservatives up there would have heard that.
Cowardly. It's the only word I can say.
Exactly.
In life, if you want to be a change agent, you cannot do what cowards do. Cowards are afraid of going and worried about what liberal media in Canada is going to do to you. That's not what Bobby came. When nobody wanted to have Bobby on, not CNN, nobody wanted to have Bobby on. You know what he did? He went to Rogan. He came here. You know how many times we've had him on? Probably 4 times we've had him on. He went to everybody. Then all of a sudden, boom. You know what he runs today? He runs a company that is 30 times the size of what Apple does per year. He runs a $1.5 trillion a year business is what he runs, okay? How did he get that job? What if he doesn't go out there and talk on podcasts? You know the first time Bobby went on Joe Rogan's podcast, do you know what Joe Rogan says to Bobby in the first 30 seconds? Have you guys seen what Joe says to Bobby in the first 30 seconds?
I've heard only
What
negative.
word did he use?
What?
You don't remember what he said? The first time Rogan has Bobby on his podcast, if you just find it, okay, Joe says, I thought you were a kook. And then what happened?
And then he broke down
And
everything.
then next thing you know, he writes this book about it. That's a change agent. Tulsi Gabbard was a change agent when Hillary went after and said, this is a Russia asset, okay? Trump is a change agent. Pierre is a boring, same old agent.
Entitled.
And you're not going to be able to win like that. At the highest level, you were humiliated after having a horrible resume that Justin Trudeau had. You lose to that?
The really terrible thing is, Pierre's got a wonderful life story that he should be sharing far and wide. Like
He's
Kamala,
been in politics since 24 years old, 25 years old.
His mother was a 16-year-old girl who decided not to abort him, to put him up for adoption. Made the same mistake with his brother, half-brother, that she then put up for adoption to the same family. He's got a non-verbal autistic child. I mean, I don't say like milk these things like the way Kamala Harris milked her so-called middle-class upbringing, but tell the story to the people. Get out there. The issue is that I think cowardice and policy issues is if he gets out there and says, yeah, my mother was a 16-year-old girl who didn't abort me, and then people are going to say, well, policy-wise, how are you then a conservative that supports abortion? That's why I think he realizes there is a real risk and exposure to go on the podcast because people will ask him these questions.
So, but oh my God.
And then the issue is you take for granted, it's true, the conservative numbers are up, so-called conservatives in Canada. But they ran a campaign that they allowed themselves to be dictated by their enemy. Their actions were dictated by their enemy.
Do you really think Canada is going to have... Okay,
And they still
imagine
lost
if
by
I were to
1.2
tell you,
points.
Canada, how much of a shit show was Canada the last 4 years during COVID?
Horrible.
How horrible was it?
It chased me out of the country.
Dude, half the people my son plays soccer with are Canadians. Half the people. You met these
I bet
guys.
all of them. They're
They're
all
Canadians.
talking trash, and they've been talking
nicest people, good business people
Yep.
who made money. They love their country. They're devastated by this. They wanted Pierre to win. They wanted this guy to win. Everything I hear with the story, people come up to you and they say, Pat, you're too tough on him. He's a very nice guy. I don't care how nice of a guy he is. No one hands you over prime minister position just because you're nice and you're smart and you got a good story. You got to go work your ass off for this. You know, like for us, you don't think we wanted Pierre to win?
Of course
you think we want Carney to win?
Nope.
What do you think we want?
Yep.
You think we're sitting here like celebrating? Where do you think this is coming from? This is coming from, me having gone there God knows how many times. Every time, Justin is this, Justin is that, Justin is this. Did you know what Justin did? Let me tell you what Justin did. All the videos we played the last 4 years. What are we playing all this stuff for? We got banned from Canada because we kept supporting Pierre and what he's supposed to be doing. Why would we care? Because we wanted to see some of the good people in Canada have some of those freedoms. But no, you guys are like, oh, this guy's automatic. He's our guy. He's going to win. It's not how competition works in life. During a season like this where a lot of people are going through challenging times, they're worried. They don't know what's going on. Some of the people are having a hard time with their finances, with their small businesses, with their careers, with their families. Stress, period, anxiety, any of that stuff. I said, I think we need something to make people's day. And I think our audience wants to participate in that. So what do? We sat there and said, we want to come up, since our audience, a lot of business owners, executives, small business owners, entrepreneurs, we want to give you the opportunity to send a package to anybody you know that's going through a challenging time with a heartfelt message to make their day. So today we're launching this new initiative called When Life Gives You Lemons, what do? Make lemonade. This program right here, Rob, if you want to play the clip. So we're sitting, we come up with this idea. Here's what it is. The box is when you choose to order this program that we have, okay? You send this box, we send it on behalf of you, that box right there, they open it up. There's a video message being played by me, an encouraging message about what they're going through today. They get a hat. On top of that, they get the smell. When you open this up, it smells like lemon, literally when you open it up. You get to pick and choose. My video is playing right here when they open it up. Obviously, I'm going to press pause here. But it's an encouraging message. You get to pick and choose what color hat they get. It's either the white lemon hat with Valuetainment and a lemon on the back, and it says, when life gives you a lemon. In the middle, it says, make lemonade. You can choose the green hat, or you can choose the red and green, all of this, but the black and green in it. Anyways, inside of it, when you open it up, there's a Valuetainment paper that's in it. There is this lemon squeezer that's in it. You got these, what do you call these things?
Air fresheners.
Air fresheners in the car. You got a bunch of stickers, bunch of lemons, and then stress balls in it, okay? They're going to laugh. They're going to have fun with it. But if you're somebody that's watching this, you have a friend, a family member, a coworker that's really going through it today, and you want to put the biggest smile on their face, representing both Valuetainment and the individual that's going through it, go to vtmerch.com, Rob, if you can help them walk through this. And there's going to be a card in it. You can go to vtmerch.com. Rob, if you can go to the card so they can see what that'll look like. So they'll get that box. You see the future looks bright on it, hashtag. And then the note right there with your name on the bottom left, meaning sent to you with care from your name being in there. So this is more than just a box. It's a message of optimism, encouragement, and the power of turning life's lemons into something amazing. We want to be able to use these opportunities to make people's days. We did this with only a limited 500 of these. We don't have more of these. These are all handmade. These took 6 weeks to make. So we only have 500 supply. The cost on this, we're making no money on this. This is $74.99 to ship it to somebody with everything that's in there. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order. And when you do, be sure in the shipping address, you put their shipping address. Unless if you want one that comes to you, they're going to be limited supplies. You can have one being shipped to you and you go deliver to somebody. I'm personally sending 10 to people that I know, and I think Pierre Poilievre's on the list of one of the ones that I have that I'm shipping it to.
Put an apple in that one.
Yeah, put an apple in there too.
They're going to be going to some of the people that I have as well.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.